I'm sure you've heard this. Israel's an apartheid state. Ready for some education? We're going to tell you what apartheid means, and it doesn't apply to Israel. Let me tell you something else. You know, many times you and I have spoken about the claim by these protest idiots that Israel is an apartheid state. I want to do a little education real quick for our audience today. Apartheid in the dictionary is defined as the implementation and maintenance of a system of legalized racial segregation in which one racial group is deprived of political and civil rights. Now, as somebody who's been all over Israel, and I mean, I've been everywhere in Israel, and I've seen the borders, and I've been to the Gaza Strip, and I've been to the Lebanese border and the Syrian border and the West Bank. I've met with government officials. I've been on television in Israel. I've seen a lot of Israel. It is so not about apartheid. Let me show you a couple of facts in this real short video.
You know who isn't protesting against Israel? The 2 million Arabs living in Israel. So where are they? Managing the biggest hospital in North Israel, reporting the news on Israel's biggest channel, serving as members in the Israeli parliament, serving in the IDF, creating content for 20 million followers, judging in the Israeli Supreme Court of Justice, playing soccer in the Israeli national team, hosting Israeli TV shows, chairing Israel's second largest bank. Yes, Israel is home to 2 million Arab citizens with equal rights as the Jewish Israelis. So, how does that fit your narrative?
That is so not apartheid. They sit on the courts. They sit in government. They are mayors. They're in the IDF. They're on television. They're in the banks. They're in corporations. They're 20% of the country, and they vote in every election, and they have representatives in the Knesset and in the local governments. That is not apartheid. And when people talk about apartheid, they're talking about the most vicious anti-Black governmental regime in world history, i.e. South Africa. This is the opposite of that. You want to see apartheid? Go be Jewish in one of those Arab countries, and you have no rights, no right to vote, no right to property, no right to have a business, and probably no right to live. But in Israel, Arabs and Jews are equal. No.
You notice how it's interesting how they leave all of that, that little small bit of information out. They always leave that out. They never tell the masses about that. They never want to relay that information because they know they can control the masses. As long as you can keep them dumb, keep them dumbed down, they're going to constantly push this. They're going to constantly push this. As long as you keep them dumbed down, free Palestine, the apartheid, the occupiers. There's a video, Barry. I don't know if I shared it with you, but there's a video where this black female at a university was saying from the river to the sea. And this guy says, well, what's the name of the river?
Doesn't know.
She couldn't even name the river, Barry. I'm like, you know what? That's sad.
Well, that's
really
because
sad.
they've got talking points, right? That they probably picked up from X or Facebook, right? Or their sociology class at the University of Retard. And they have no actual knowledge. They've never been there. They've never met Israelis. It's like, they saw a Rashida Tlaib speech or an Ilhan Omar speech, and they go, oh, well, that must be true.
Yeah.
I'm a progressive. They're progressives. I'm a communist. They're communists. We're all minorities. Israel must be the oppressor of the Nazi apartheid regime. They have no clue what they're talking about, and they're just flat dead wrong.
Yeah. They're just regurgitating the same thing that they've heard, the same talking points over and over, just like they were saying the Israeli soldiers were going in the middle of the night before this conflict. This was like 4 years ago, Barry. The Israeli soldiers would go into the Gaza Strip and then kidnap the kids, and like they don't even know where the kids are. I said, that's not true. If that was true, the BBC, even CNN, MSSCD, all of the government state medias around the world would be screaming about Israeli soldiers kidnapping children, if that were true. But none of them are saying that.
Let me tell you something. I was at a very small reception a few years ago, a private home, and it was given in honor of Miss Israel. Miss Israel is a black African Jew from Ethiopia. She is blacker than black, gorgeous woman, university educated, fluent Hebrew, fought in the Israeli army and served her country. And she's a black woman. Okay. And I asked her, well, because she spoke perfect English, very, very nice lady. And I asked her, how do you respond when people call Israel an apartheid state and you are a black African? I mean, black. Like the people from Africa are very dark, And
Right.
she said, I just tell them to look at my face. I represent Miss Israel all over the world. I'm Miss Israel. I'm a black African Israeli Jew. There is no apartheid. Look at me.
Yeah. Yeah. But they don't, but then again, that just blows their narrative out the water. So don't pay attention to her. That's what it comes down to.
It blows the narrative out. So ignore that.
Yeah.
Ignore the man behind the curtain, like in The Wizard of Oz, because it ruins the story. All of a sudden, everything falls apart.